We are going to go ahead and get started. We'd have everybody grab their seats so we can get things underway. Thank you, Ray. Would you guys please remain standing as we welcome up LDMP Honor Guards to present colors.
Detail. Hold. Left. Peace. Present. Coach.
Please join me in welcoming Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in welcoming up Ms. Kay Ashley to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets the bombs bursting in the through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,
Please join me in welcoming LVMPD Chaplain Steve Beeson to open us up in prayer. Come in close. You guys look good. It's good to see you guys tonight. Would you all join me in prayer as we pray over these folks and over these proceedings? Father, we thank you for this great day. We thank you for every one of these men and women that stand here with us today. Father, many of their family members had written them off, and many other people had written them off. But Father, we know that you never wrote them off, that you have always had a plan and a destiny for their lives. Father, I thank you for the folks that poured into them this week. I thank you that for many of them, you've shown them how to dream again and even push the issue a little with them. Father, you've put before them a great and open door of opportunity, of community, and of second chances. And Father, we pray into them today. We bless them. I thank you for all that pour in. I thank you for all that are here today. And Father, we invite your presence into this very place, into this home of our police department. And Father, we hear you saying to these people today, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to bless you and not to curse you, plans to pour my spirit on you, to give you a hope and a future. And we agree with that today. Father, be pleased with all that we do, and we bless you and we praise you in your precious name. Amen. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys may please be seated. I want to welcome you to this very exciting day as Hope for Prisoners kicks off 2023. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Just want to tell you first before we get into, thank everyone for joining us online. I want to welcome everybody in this room. Those of you who come from near and far, I know there's people jumped on planes and came to be here with us tonight. We greatly appreciate you. We know that you can be any place else on the planet. I want to say hello to everybody who's watching in the correctional institutions inside the Clark County Detention Center. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. And want to say hello to our family and friends, those watching around the world from the Hope for Prisoners Facebook page. We're so glad that you have joined us here tonight. So for those of you who may be new to Hope for Prisoners, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we do, why we do what it is that we do, and talk about some of the things that brought us to this moment and there's some expectations for the future. So by way of introduction, my name is John Ponder. I'm the founder and CEO of Hope for. So some of the people that we work with are coming home from state or federal prisons, city, county jails, drug rehabs, halfway houses, transitional facilities, and the likes. And what we do is provide the much needed supportive services to help the men and women that are coming home after they paid their debt to society. Not only get acclimated back into workplaces, we make sure there's mechanisms in place through partnerships that we built up with employers that once they get inside the workplace, they're going to be afforded every opportunity to thrive and be able to grow and afforded every opportunity to succeed. We address the needs for them to get acclimated back into their family, making sure there's a mechanism in place to help with that family reunification component, because everyone in this room can attest to the fact that if the family life is not right, if the home life is not right, then everything else in the world has a tendency to fall apart. And then on the back end of the process, because there's a long-term 18-month or more journey that we walk with them post-release, look and do everything we possibly can with every resource we have available to us to help them to be stand-up leaders out here in our community with an overall goal of them never, ever, ever reoffending again. So Hope for Prisoners was birthed out of my own personal experiences. I was a guy who was coming in and out of the system for a very, very long time. Learned some extremely valuable lessons from all the mistakes that I made. And those lessons that I learned helped me to live life on a whole another level. So what my passion in life had become was to be turn right back around and help the other men and women who are facing those same challenges that one day I once faced, to do everything I can to blow the doors off the hinges. You guys know that I say open doors, to blow the doors off the hinges and to help to escort them up to the next level of life. So we are very, very honored that you're here with us today. You know, in 2002, this is a very exciting, kickoff of 2023, because in 2022, we've had the great privilege to graduate over 430 men and women through our mechanism. We had the great privilege of bringing on an additional 56 second chance employers to add to the existing 130 that we already had. You can clap there because that was awesome. And because mentoring is such a huge component is what we do, we trained and equipped 60 new mentors in 2002 alone, bringing up our trained mentor number to over 610 men and women from our community that serving as mentors. And I'm gonna pause right there so you can give a clap. So I'm gonna give some honorable mentions tonight because of the success that Hope for Prisons have. We understand that we cannot do this by ourselves. You know, when I go across the country and I talk about, the success of Hope for Prisons and people ask, well, how do you do it? And I say, hands down, it is the unprecedented partnerships that we built up right here in this local community. And I'm going to first start and recognize our faith-based partners like Kenneth Copeland Ministries, Liberty Baptist Church, the Crossings Christian Church, City Light Church, which is my home church, Word of Life Christian Center, Bethany Baptist Church, Central Christian Church, Life Springs Christian Church, Southwest Prison Ministries, Messages of the Faith Ministries, and we are so grateful for our collaborating partners like Workforce Connections, the Department of Employment, Training, Rehabilitation, working very closely with the College of Southern Nevada, the Vegas Chamber, working with the Ahern companies, the Siegel Group, and many, many more. We're very grateful for those partnerships. Can we give them a gigantic round of applause? We also want to recognize some of our law enforcement partners, and they're all here in this room. Partners like Nevada Department of Corrections. You're going to hear from the new director here shortly. We work very closely with the Nevada Department of Public Safety, Parole, and Probation, and I know you guys in the room. Highway Patrol, City of Las Vegas Public Safety, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Yeah, can we give them a big, gigantic round of applause? We also have the privilege of working with an unprecedented partnership in our Clark County District Attorney's Office. The Clark County DA is here. Thank you so much for coming out, working with the Family Support Division as well as the Criminal Division. We could not do what it is that we do without you, and thank you guys so much for being part of the mission. Can we give them a gigantic round of applause? So we have taken our folks through this very intensive training, right? Because one of the things that we have learned, and I speak from my own personal experience, is that the vast majority of people from this segment of the population, they really do want to change, but they have no idea how to do it. So for so long, we've been telling people from this segment of the population, after you paid your debt to the society, get out in the community and become a productive member of the community. And they have no idea what that might look like. So what it is that we do, both pre and post-release, is we come alongside and train them, equip them, not only the things that's going to be able to help them to get good jobs, but more importantly, be able to help them to maintain those jobs and then lay down the foundation so that they can build up this brand new life to where they never, ever, ever reoffend again. Training is the key. We have a training session, and we titled this the Vivid Vision. Inside this Vivid Vision, we challenge our graduates to take a look at their life 1 year from graduation day. And we just ask them to wake up in the morning and ask to walk us through a day in your life, put it down on the paper. And the reason why I love that model, that session that we have, because, if you've ever seen someone who's just completely hopeless, we see people like that all the time. roaming the streets, they're completely hopeless. And the reason why they're hopeless is because they cannot see their future. They're hopeless. But when you can get individuals to rise up out of that state of hopelessness and see a future and have faith in a process that there is obtainable, that's when they find hope in the moment. So you're going to have an opportunity to hear some of the wonderful, vivid visions from our graduates. But before we do that, we love bringing back people who are alumni graduates who once stood in this room and shared their vision. So that John Parner's not sitting here like the talking head. It's the evidence. If you guys will please put your hands together for the rock star, Hope for Prisoners alumni, Danielle. Come on up.
All right, yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle Shapiro. I graduated from Hope for Prisoners in 2017, when it was in the beginning stages of what we are a part of today. The experience is life-altering. For me, it gave me a new perspective on how to value myself. I no longer felt alone or limited in the world of success. Society tells us that we are outcasts, damaged, and untrustworthy. Hope for Prisoners breaks all the stigma that has held us back. I was born in Ventura, California in 1985. I was raised by my Nana mainly. My mother struggled with substance abuse as well as mental illness. My father was running from himself into the abyss of addiction as well, so he wasn't in my life. My Nana was my rock. I moved constantly due to my stepfather's criminal lifestyle, which instilled in me the inability to ground myself or stay in one place for very long. I was a free spirit ready for any adventure. I was in all honor roll classes until I was in 6th grade when I tried hard drugs for the first time. The insanity I was exposed to became the norm. I endured some very unfortunate trauma that altered my thinking, and I developed something called impulse control disorder and PTSD. I was operating in fight or flight mode constantly. Combined with hardcore substances and no fear, I was a tornado. My life, where was I? Was headed to destruction. By the age of 13, I was on formal probation for robbing the same Circle K 3 times. I became a ward of the court at 15. Juvenile hall was to become my parent and teacher. In total, I did 2.5 years in juvenile hall. During this time, I was impulsive, fearless, and lacked any self-love. A criminal mentality and the life that comes with it became addictive. During my life, I had many pockets of success, good jobs, and healthy relationships, but it all shattered to the ground due to my destructive behavior. I knew in my heart that was not the woman I would be. On January 2015, I was incarcerated for 5 Class A felonies, including kidnapping, for a crime I committed in 2013. During that time, I allowed revenge to hypnotize me in a plot to end someone's life. I had been indicted and I was on the run. I was incarcerated for an entire county year, waiting for my case to be resolved. In the end, I realized that God had a different plan for me spending years in prison. Once I was sentenced and later released, I was left with just me, a bag of books, and nowhere to live. I had to figure things out. I met someone in this sober living who took me to a Hope for Prisoners huddle. At this point, I had no idea what I was going to do for stable housing or how I was going to move forward on this side of life. The challenge was that it had been 6 years since I was a participating member of society. Suddenly, I had all the answers to my questions and immediate needs. I had the resources I need, and I was provided with a plan. I enrolled in the workshop, which changed my life forever. It was a spiritual experience for me. I was excited about what was next for me in life. Hope for Prisoners is not just a reentry program. It's a movement and a community. And Hope for Prisoners played a big confidence I needed to believe in myself again. It was like I was in an employment boot camp. My graduation was a rite of passage into a new phase of life. I was going to be held accountable by my peers and as well as by myself. I recited my oath with my class, knowing that there was a lot of work ahead of me to be done. I had a lot of uncertainties, like supporting myself financially. I had no family to relieve me of those stressors or fears. So having Hope for Prisoners as a support system was everything to me. I know for a fact that if this program was not available to me, I would have resorted to old behavior and toxic people. This program showed me the importance of intervention during an impressionable time is the difference between a catastrophic failure or a success. As graduates, you are part of a movement that is saving so many lives, families, and entire communities. Hope for Prisoners can mean to you whatever you want it to mean. For me, standing side by side with the Metro Police Department was mind-blowing, considering I had been running from them for so long prior. This accomplishment is not the end. You have an entire team, including your case managers, that are there to be your cheerleader, giving you the roadmap to being self-sufficient. I participated in the huddles every week, Bible study, and the Google Knowledge computer class they had 2 to 3 times a week. I maintained contact with my case manager weekly. I was assisted with everything I needed to secure employment, a resume, job leads, etc. I landed a job at the Macaroni Grill where I worked for a year. I was also provided with a mentor who assisted me tremendously. So take this journey seriously, push everything and everyone aside, and change the way you see yourself and focus on yourself. I consider myself to be a life in Hope for Prisoners. My life reflects where I have been, but more importantly, where I am going and the impact I am making. I am able to provide hope. I am now a mother of a beautiful 13-month-old boy. Which is a love like no other, and I'm currently working for the Salvation Army as a vocational case manager. Yeah. All right, where was I? I get to walk side by side with my clients on their path to success, and the Salvation Army has such a strong force and impact on our community, and I am blessed to be a part of that. I also work alongside my now mentor to provide housing for women within the community. Hope for Prisoners gave me a solid foundation at the most pivotal point of transitioning back into real life. When we walk out, we are presented with 2 choices. We can open the door to success or box ourselves in failure. I am thankful to God for the opportunities He has presented in me in my life. I encourage all of you to look within yourselves and figure out who you are and what you want to do with your life. Ask yourself the question, what mark is this world do you want to have? Congratulations on entering to the next stage of your life.
Can we give Danielle another gigantic round of applause? So very, very proud of you. And we are looking very forward to walking that same journey out with you guys. I want to recognize our speakers that you're going to hear from tonight. And, you know, some of these speakers, just like some of the greatest leaders in our local community, and then great leaders from a national level who've come out to speak. I just want you to say hello, and we're going to invite them up to speak in a little bit. But from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Sheriff, let me say it one more time, Sheriff Kevin McMahill. Give him a big, gigantic, woo! Also from our Nevada Secretary of State, Cisco Aguilar is here. And also the new Director of Nevada Department of Corrections, Jim Zarinder. And all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, flying overnight, is my dear friend. He's the Vice President of Reintegration and Education, a whole bunch of other things for Viapath Technology, Pastor Tony Loudon. And Viapath Technologies is one of our collaborating partners. They happen to be this month's graduation sponsor, and you're going to hear from the Government Affairs Director here in a little bit. But first, I'd like to welcome up another Vivid Vision, right? And you have to understand, when we do these Vivid Visions, we have them write it down on a piece of paper. When they get done with it, you know, we make a copy of it. We give them a copy of it. And then the other copy, we give it to their case managers and their mentors. And then what our job is is to do everything we can to help them to live out that dream. If we do not do that, we're faking. We're just another reentry program providing services. I want you guys to put your hands together. And you guys don't know, look at Ray shaking in the boots. Please put your hands together for Moises Trinidad.
Man, last time I wore a tie, I was coming to prison. Feel great. How's everybody? Thank you guys for letting me speak and having me. Okay, my name is Moises Elias Trinidad. Today is Friday, January 13th, 2024. This is my vivid vision. Today is a very special day for me among the other few important days in my life. I have accomplished my goal. I have finally obtained my general contractor's license. It hasn't been an easy journey, but through the help of my family at Hope for Prison, I'm well on my way. My plans for the future are to start my own steel erecting company as soon as I get the rest of the means to do so. I intend on giving back to the community I took so much from by creating jobs for the city. In addition, I also plan on hiring people with criminal background just like myself. I will someday be a monumental staple in town, just like Mr. John Ponder and his wonderful organization, Hope for Prisoners. I cannot say it enough how much of an impact him and his team has made in my life, pointed me in the right direction and given me so much more than I could ever have imagined. Because of the mentoring from them, I am closer to God and have made stronger ties back with my family. I would like to pay respects to the wonderful men and women who put their lives on the line for us every day, just so my family and I can have a safe community to live in. Before I met these brave men and women, I was honestly on the fence about them. Behind closed doors, my class and I had a visit and a very transparent conversation with them. I learned I'm no different than them, and they're also human. Just like us convicts, just like us, they go through so much in their brave line of duty. I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would also like you to know I have the utmost respect for the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, Nevada Highway Patrol, and parole, and the brave officers of parole and probation. Your stories really changed the way I see the law forever and also touched my heart in so many ways. My lifestyle has improved significantly. I'm no longer a burden to my family. I'm honestly living my best life. Words cannot begin to describe how grateful I am to have ended up in prison. To me, coming to prison my life was day to day, check to check. Instead of focusing in my life and my future, the only important thing was how I was going to get the next pill to get high from. Now I'm sober, driven. I put God first before anything. I work out religiously. I'm the father I always needed and wanted for my children, and I strive to be the best for them I can. God only knows how much I put them through. I'm confident, driven, focused, and successful. To all the people who doubt Hope for Prisoners, I am living proof that all you have to do is give my family at Hope a chance and want better for yourself. Take it from me, living proof, and that a bit of sacrifice, and most importantly, how bad do you want success? The world is at your fingertips. The question I have for the doubters is, how bad do you want it? How far are you willing to sacrifice to get there and reach your empire and leave a legacy for your family? For me, there's not enough stars in the galaxy to stop me or deter me. I am hope. And my name is Moises Elias Trinidad, and today is Friday, January 13th, 2023. Thank you for letting me speak.
Can we give him another gigantic round of applause? Was that awesome? Or was that awesome? faith in the future, hope in the moment. As we make way for our first speaker, this guy really does not need any introduction, but I am going to say that I can remember sitting down in like a Starbucks many moons ago. Let me know if he gets up coming over to the podium. Just wave at me. And we were talking about some leadership principles and how could law enforcement get involved in helping formerly incarcerated people get back out into the community and not only never reoffend again, but to begin levels of life that most people only dream of. He was speaking my language. And out of that conversation many years ago, I think he was a captain. What evolved up out of that conversation, words cannot even describe. It is something that has cost other law enforcement agencies across the country looking for us to export that model to their jurisdiction. It gives me an honor and a privilege to introduce you to my dear friend, Sheriff Kevin McMahill.
Here's my first graduation picture here. All right. You're going on my social media, so just so you know. Well, thanks, John. Moises, I bet you didn't think you were going to be speaking today, did you? You did a hell of a job, buddy. Good job. Yeah. And was it Daniela that spoke? Danielle, I'm sorry. Just a fantastic job. Congratulations on all your success. So congratulations to all of you. How many of you about a year ago thought you'd be sitting at police headquarters? Not in handcuffs. Anybody? Didn't see that coming, did you? How about when the officers went in plain clothes and then came in uniform? You didn't see that coming either, did you? No. I appreciate you mentioning that they're human beings as well, because they're a fantastic group of people. You know, I'm recently elected. This is only my second week, and I spent 30 years here. I was the undersheriff for 6.5 years, which is the number 2 position. And honestly, what John didn't tell you was that he came to me many years ago and he asked me if we would have cops consider working as mentors to returning offenders. And that thing grew into, could we do graduation at police headquarters? And it grew into so many other things. Because as you all know, you can't tell John no, right? I have yet to meet that person who's ever told John no. But I didn't really believe it, to be very honest with you. I was the captain in West Las Vegas over here. I've been through a lot of reentry programs and people that weren't really helping people. And so we challenged each other. And in fact, in this very room, I brought together about 70 police officers. And I asked I asked them if they would come on this journey with me. And we have antiquated rules in policing about consorting with persons of ill repute, right? Laws that, policy and procedure that says we can't do that. So I just broke all the laws and all the policy and all the procedure, right? Because what I want you to remember about something is that as you look around, and would you all stand up back there, men and women of law enforcement from all different agencies, please? You deserve so much credit. Thank you. You can sit down now. They care. They give a damn. They don't ever want to arrest you again. They never, ever, ever want to see you out running those streets again and doing the things that put you where you were. Because you know what they see in you? Your humanity. They see that first thing they see, not crook, not criminal, not cop, is the first thing we all have in common is that we're human beings. And the opportunity to really begin to change the narrative around that, to recognize all one another as a human being, is what's going to really radically transform us on January 2nd. This first 2 weeks has been really difficult. I had 11 murders in 11 days. I want you to think about that, folks. 11 murders in 11 days. That's 11 families, 11 mothers and brothers and sisters and fathers, families that will never be the same because of the act of violence on one person. And the truth is, mental health, addiction, almost always involved. Chasing after that dope to do these things. We put people in jail for mental health and addiction, and that's not where they get the help. Incarceration doesn't fix mental health or addiction. What fixes it is wraparound supportive services like Hope for Prisoners, that's investing and pouring into all of you in your lives. You're here at our police headquarters. How many of you ever wore a graduation gown before? Couple? Many of you, this is the first time. Congratulations. Let that love pour into you. Look around this room. I want you to know we are here for you. You're part of something bigger than you now. This Hope for Prisoners is a model across the nation. 90+% of the people never offend again. That's what we want for you. We want to help you along in your journey. These men and women that are back out there that I have the God-given fortune to lead, we are on your team. We want to see you succeed. Anything that we can do to help you, we will. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Can we give Sheriff Mayhill another big gigantic round of applause? I think we can do better than that. Sheriff, would you please stand up? Please stand up. And the officers remain standing in the back. The only reason why I wanted you to stand up because I just love the ability to have to tell the police what to do. I'm just kidding. I wanted you guys to stand up. Number one, Kevin, and thank you for your leadership. Right? You know, you can look around this room and, you know, we've come a long way, baby. So we want to thank you for your leadership, guys around this room. Thank you for serving in sometimes what could be a very thankless job. So as a reentry community, we just want to, as a community as a whole, I'm going to ask everybody else in the feet, stand up. And we just want to send a gigantic thank you out. Can you guys turn around, look at the police in the back room, and just give them a big, gigantic thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. And we're praying for you. Absolutely. All right. If you guys please be seated. Hey, we want to carve out some time to recognize our graduation sponsor. Because there's sponsorships available for graduations. We have graduation sponsors. We want to take a time out to celebrate and recognize our graduation sponsor. So from Viatech Technologies, would you please put your hands together for Felicia Hall, who is with the Government Affairs of Viatech.
Good evening. It is indeed my pleasure. I'm a little vertically challenged, so I'm gonna pull this down just a little bit. It is indeed my pleasure to be here. I bring you greetings from Viapath Technologies. And like my colleague, Tony Loudon, I traveled across those storms last night to get here from the great state of Mississippi. And so this is absolutely wonderful. To be here with you all. I am the former commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. And so this is amazing for me to be here, standing in the stead to recognize your journey and for Viapath to be a part of that journey and to actually sponsor. We recognize the value in technology in this space and making sure we share in your mission to make sure you all have the best possibility for success, right? For reintegration and reentry. And Mr. Ponder, let me thank you for the work that you and your team are doing. This is absolutely phenomenal. Your work with law enforcement, your work with the local community, your work with the rest of the community and recognizing the importance of wraparound services is absolutely amazing. So I applaud you. I applaud the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Sheriff, under your leadership, and the work that's being done, because we know it could not be done without you all. So let me get out of the way so the commencement can begin, but I just appreciate you and thank you for all that's being done. And to the graduates today, it's all about you, right? Today begins the rest of your life. So like I used to tell my executive staff, onward and upward, the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Felicia, and we greatly appreciate your support. I'm going to take a few minutes to just recognize some of the people I see in the room, but I don't have my glasses. I do recognize the treasurer of the board of Hope for Prisoners, Mr. Jeff Cooper over there. We want to just recognize him. Also joining us today is City Councilwoman Victoria Seaman. Would you please give her a big, gigantic round of applause? And then also Clark County Commissioner Tick Sigabloom. Can you give him a big, gigantic round of applause? No, he's here somewhere. We also have certificates. You're going to get certificates today from the office of Governor Lombardo. I know that Amanda Sandoval is here, Justin Guzman from the office of Dina Titus, and many more that you're going to be able to get those. So as we make way for our next speaker, I don't think that is right, because I didn't want to go through the bios. I can't tell you that this guy's a very dear friend of mine. I have known him from several years and worked very closely with him. And I know the incredible leader and the asset that he's going to be here to the state of Nevada. Would you please put your hands together for our Secretary of State, my dear friend, Mr. Cisco Aguilar.
Well, good evening. How is everyone doing? Great. Well, I have to say, this is the first time as the Secretary of State I'm giving comments, so thank you for the honor. I have to tell you, though, I had to earn the right to be here. I spoke with John. I said, you know, it's incredible the speakers you have. And he's like, well, Cisco, you should be a speaker. I said, I have not earned the right to stand before you. We had to win my election. We fought hard, just as hard as you have fought to be here today. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. Look, I know what it takes to take the hard road to get to the right decision or the right outcome. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be frustrating, but congratulations on what you've done. You have my complete and mad respect for what you've done. We also have to recognize the individuals that stand behind us and continue to push us forward. We need to thank the people that continue to love us unwaveringly. They have our back. And I have to say, you're about to experience pure moments of joy, but pure moments of frustration. And you have to remember to ask for help from those individuals who stood behind you. When you're in your path to new opportunity and new life, thank them, because they will continue to be there for you. One of those individuals who has the biggest heart and amazing ability to fight through any barrier is my friend, John Ponder. But more importantly, everything he's done to achieve what he has, he's done it because he has a vision and he has a passion. But he also knows that you have to have your fellow brother, sisters back. And he continues to have my back to this day. And he's had my back from the first day I met him. Thank you, John. You and your team have done a phenomenal job with today's graduation. Hope for Prisoners is the organization making a difference in our community. The work you do every day to help graduates like you is impressive. Their success is your success, and we need to continue that mantra with them. The Hope for Prisoners mission is personal to me. I've had several members in and out of prison. I grew up going to jails and prisons, sitting in the visitor room, waiting to see my uncle, sitting there with my nana, who's in tears because her mijo is far away from her. Those memories have impacted my life and decisions I have made. I wouldn't be standing here as Secretary of State if it wasn't for those experiences. I remember as a kid getting in that car, driving with her, listening to the Mexican music on the radio. She's dancing away, but as we got close to the facility, the tears just started rolling. And I'd ask her, Nana, why are you crying? Because, mijo, this is not a good thing. But we sat there and we talked. And for a woman, as a single woman of 9 children, she lost her husband, my grandfather, in a tragic car accident. In some way, those 9 kids raised themselves and were susceptible to the circumstances of their community, but also victims of a system that failed to serve them. But what was a Latino woman with 9 children to do? There are a couple of points from my personal story that I want to make. First, do not for a minute think you are not an influence in someone's life. You are important to your children, to your nieces, your nephews, and your cousins. People are watching you, and they're respecting the decisions you make, no matter what your past. My uncles, even though they had the past they had, they never stopped being an influence on me. Sitting in the visitor's room, as I mentioned, having some of the most raw and unfiltered conversations about the past, the present, and the future shaped me into who I am today. So remember, I saw firsthand, and you probably think this is a politician speaking, but it's not. I'm speaking from the heart. How a system could change a person for both the good and the ugly. How it taught me decisions we make have consequences, but we also have the opportunity to learn and make the changes we need to be the person we want to be. As I stated, those visits had an impact on me. Who would have thought a kid would be the first Latino Secretary of State in this great state of Nevada? My family was not well educated. My mom did not finish high school because she was pregnant with my older brother. My dad worked 3 jobs to support our family, but they fought and they worked extremely hard every day. Your experience, your story can have an impact on someone who loves you, admires you, so that they too can become the next elected leader in this community. You too can be that next elected official. John has showed you that path. Follow his advice, follow his guidance, and follow his heart. Second, in Nevada, especially in Clark County, we have a failed education system. And that system, in some way, has failed you. Our public schools are filled with overcrowded classrooms, severe staffing shortages, and a major lack of funding for counselors, mental health, and special education services. The prison pipeline is a direct consequence of a lack of a strong public education system. And it is directly impacting our Black and brown communities, people with disabilities, and those who have faced poverty and neglect. Instead of being given resources to succeed, our communities are punished and pushed out. Kids are being suspended, sent to juvenile detention, or transferred to behavioral schools. They are being put into the criminal justice system too early in their lives. We can work together to solve this problem in Nevada. You have an experience to speak from. Thank you. You have the heart to benefit somebody following you from behind. For a second, again, please do not believe you do not have the influence to have an impact. As Secretary of State, I can tell you, you can have an immediate impact right now, and that's through the ballot box. So vote, vote, vote. Since 2019, your right to vote is immediately restored. Congratulations. And remember, improving our education system is on the ballot. Justice reform is on the ballot. Affordable health care and access to housing is on the ballot. You have to elect leaders, and that's you, who are going to fight for you and the issues important to you. Do it for those that in other states don't have that right to vote again. But you do. Do it for my uncles. I'm committed to being a voice for those of you that are truly willing to fight. There shouldn't be barriers for anybody who wants to have their voices heard. And I want to have a say in their own futures. Thank you again for having me. It's a true honor, and congratulations. You worked hard. And to hell with the past, but fight for the future. Congratulations. Thank you.
Cisco Aguilar, please give him a gigantic round of applause. Thank you, Cisco. My man. I think we have time to insert a Vivid Vision. If you guys would please put your hands together for Hope for Prisoners graduate, Mr. Kalen Hampton.
How you guys doing tonight? Glad to hear. Glad to hear. My name is Kalen Hampton, and today is Friday, January 13th, 2024, and this is my vivid vision. Beep, beep, beep. It's 3 a.m. and my alarm is going off. I was taught by Mr. Greg Kidder, winners get up at dark 30. I dropped to my knees and I said a prayer that I'm a God-fearing man. Oh, man. I'm going to have to wing this. I grabbed the wrong paper. No, I'm all the way smooth. One thing I can't do is wing it, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to wing this thing. I dropped to my knees and said a prayer. I go to the living room. I grab my vitamins and I take them with a glass of water. I feed my dogs, check my stocks, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, floss, rinse, and look myself in the mirror and I say, Kalen Hampton, I'm a God-fearing, happy, healthy trillionaire. And that always puts a big smile on my face. I prepare to go to the gym because I will be there by 4 a.m. to not only work out, but to train my number one client. At the gym, I work out and train my first client from 4 a.m. to 5:30, my second client from 5:45 to 6:45, and my third client from 7 to 8 a.m. 8 a.m., I'm on my way to my job as an electrician, which I love because I built great relations with everybody from the boss to the person that nobody cares for. I get off work at 5 p.m. and head home. On my way home, I make sure I call at least one person out of my contact list so I keep my relationship strong and my network even stronger. I'm home by 6 p.m. and the very first thing I do is find my wife, give her a hug, kiss, and ask her how her day was. I give her at least 30 minutes of my undivided attention so that she does not just hear I love you, but she feels I love you. This also keeps our communication on good terms. Around 6:30, I start dinner. Dinner is ready by 7:45. And at that time, everyone in the house will sit down and enjoy at least a 30-minute dinner together. No phones allowed. It is a time to enjoy each other and how blessed we are. On Saturdays, I do not work out, but I instruct 3 classes at a local gym. When I'm done with that, I help my mom and my grandmother with any projects they may have around the house. I spend the rest of the day with my wife, just me and her, ensuring that our marriage stays romantic, spicy, and sexy. Sundays, I sleep in, go to a yoga class when I wake up, and we all know that God is great, so we must attend church. I also take Sundays to spend time with my friends so that they know no matter how busy I become, they're important to me as well. I remember when I first came to Hope from Prisoner, and from the very first day, I knew I was on a bullet train to success. I knew so fast because everything I studied while I was incarcerated, these tried and true professionals were teaching the exact same principles. I want to give a shout out to my classmates because the positivity, welcomeness, energy that flowed around daily made me feel great, and I knew I belonged. We belonged. Nobody was judgmental of me, not each other. We encouraged each other, exchanged compliments, created an environment where every day on my way to class, I was smiling. Mr. Ponder and his team were nothing short of amazing. And I mean amazing. They didn't just teach, they connected. In a situation where we had to sit for 8 hours in the same chair, same spot, they used their knowledge, energy, and charisma to keep the entire class engaged. Today, my financial situation is incredible. My family relationships are great, and I have more friends than I ever could have imagined. I'm respected in my community. Everyone is not only proud of me, but marveled at how I use the tools I taught in Hope for Prisoner to catapult myself to rapid success. I am at peace. I am healthy. I am happy. But most importantly, I am blessed. Thank you for your time. God bless. My name is Kaylin Hampton, and today is Friday, January 13th, 2023, and this is my vivid vision. See you next year. Thanks.
Please give Kaylin another big, gigantic round of applause. Man, oh man. I think he did fantastic for winging it. Man, it gives me an honor and a privilege to introduce our next speaker. I've traveled across the country over the years and studying different prison systems because trying to get out to be, bring back the best to the great state of Nevada. And I had the privilege of seeing some fantastic models. So I learned who are the directors that put in the work and those who do not. I had the privilege of visiting Missouri Department of Corrections, who a dear friend of mine named Ann Presythe, Tony, you and I have visited, and she is probably one of the two best directors in the country. There's another great director who I have known, and we are so honored and blessed. Oh my gosh, I have not been able to sleep. That the other best director in the nation just became the director of the Nevada Department of Corrections. If you guys would please put your hands together for my friend, Mr. James Zarenda.
Well, first of all, like everybody else, I'm honored to be up here. And I like to tell stories that'll explain on why it's important where you are and what it means to me. First of all, I came in here today and I see how big this has gotten. I left the Department of Correction as director back in 2019. It was not this size. So what I'm thinking is if you look at statistics and ratio, this time next year, John's got to coordinate to have the graduations at the Allegiant Stadium. That's right. Right before the Super Bowl. So another couple things which I got to mention that is going to be important for you and where I stand with this. John was talking about visiting different areas of the country. I had fortunate to work in multiple areas of the country too to learn about what's good and, like what John said, what's not good. I left the department, which I really enjoyed. I loved working for the agency. Had some family health issues back in the East. I left here to be the county sheriff out in New York. Here's what's interesting about the county sheriff in New York. The county sheriff that I was county in was Nassau County. And I'll tell you something that none of you probably know about Nassau County except for John, is that first of all, Nassau County is the largest county and has the largest jail system in New York, outside of New York City. And guess who childhood grew up in New York, in Nassau County? John. John grew up where I was sheriff. So anyway, we had a lot of things in common, talking about what was going on there, what was still going on there that was wrong years ago, that are still going on, that I tried to change. What John liked to do, like he mentioned, is travel around to see what works and what doesn't. And I'll tell you a quick story that was interesting of why it's going to relate to you. We go to one department in the country, and we go down south, and we're listening to them we went with the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce at the time. Went down there to learn about jobs, went down there about how we can connect those that are incarcerated before they are released, to get them connected with those jobs, what kind of jobs they are. So when I talk about practice what you preach, John and I looked at each other at the exact same time when this comment was made in this reentry program. They had this really great program that they were doing with masonry, teaching those offenders that were incarcerated about the trade. The best person that they ended up having trained actually worked better than the trainers, was a great artist. He was one of those incarcerated that was due to be released. He was a great mentor to those in the program. He did the best work. He actually did some work on the Capitol, and actually a beautiful, beautiful masonry work. Here's what John and I picked up at this first second. The instructor of the program said that he was retiring. He was leaving the agency. And the first thing he said was, I don't know what's going to happen to the masonry program, because they're going to probably go under because they do not have another instructor. John and I looked at each other and said, they just mentioned about this individual that's getting out that is the best that they've ever seen. We looked at each other, well, practice what you preach. You got someone to replace that individual. Anyway, it was the same thing that we brought up. Oh, we can't do that. It's like, you can do this. When I got back to Nevada, I probably got a lot of people angry at me because they didn't understand this concept. But what did I do? I had an individual that was incarcerated, that was a good mentor, that was good with working with those offenders, helped me out with coordinating programs. This is an offender himself. When he left, what did I do? Hired him as a case manager. I said, we have to practice what we preach. So I'll tell you something I did as a mistake. September, October came of this year, 2022. I called John. We talk all the time, but I called him and I said, John, I'm thinking about going back to Nevada. Big mistake. You know who called me every single day? Was John. To the point, now this is no joke, to a point where my wife, the phone rings. Is that John? No joke. But anyway, I'm proud of each of you. And what you mean about graduation is this is not the end. This is the beginning. And what we have to have our goals set on, what John was talking about with mentors, you have to succeed to the point where you're going to be the goal to reach of 5,000 mentors for Hope for Prisoners, not hundreds. We're going to thousands. And once we get to that point, and as you're succeeding, I am going to need you as well. I need to turn the agency around. I need to change the cultures that I tried to change when I was here the first time. And I know a few of you that are sitting here today, and I remember you back from 2019 with my conversations that we've had. And I always brought up the same thing that I brought here earlier. You practice what you preach, and you need to too. If you're saying you're successful and you're going to succeed and you're going to be good, you got to practice what you preach and make sure you help me mentor those others that are coming. And what I promised John was, and he promised me with Hope for Prisoners, is that we in this department in the state are not only going to have the best post-incarceration system and connections and community connections and job connections and system for re-entry, but also the pre-re-entry. Those before going out. We're going to set the model, and I'm going to be proud of it because I'm going to be part of this with John. We're going to be the model in the country to say that we are the best pre-entry systems for re-entry and post-entry into the system so that we never see you back as an individual incarcerated. But as an individual that's either working in the Department of Correction or being a mentor. And that's what I practice, what I preach. And you will find that out. We need individuals to be able to not only mentor, but do the right thing in the system. When you talk about prisons and jails, and I mean, I worked out, I was running all the jails and prison systems in the state of Connecticut as commissioner. I grew up in the system. I actually started at 18 years old as a correction officer, which they really don't do anymore except in Florida and New Mexico. But I started off at 18. I could have retired at 38. I still stayed what I'm doing. And it wasn't because I needed to stay, because I can make more money when you retire and have a second job. I stayed because I was proud of what I was accomplishing. I was accomplishing something, and I always wanted to accomplish something nobody else can do. And that's what we're going to do here in the agency. I'm going to change this whole culture so that they understand this importance. And when you talk about the importance it makes, having you do programs, having you be mentors, I can't do that. I could probably run prisons and jails pretty well because I've been doing it for a long time. I was running the operations of all the county, the jails in all the 5 boroughs of New York City and Rikers Island. I was the commissioner here before. I started the North Las Vegas jail system from scratch because they closed it many years ago. I'm a county sheriff out in Nassau, changing the system to be right because it was so bad. Coming back here because of my real soul tells me I got to be in Nevada. And that's where God is sending me and being with John. So yes, I could probably do well running the system, but who runs programs better than those that understand and are in the programs but you? I can't do that. If I try to run a program that people, first of all, nobody would listen, and I don't know exactly what really works, what you really know inside, deep inside your body and your soul, you do, and that's what touches the hearts of those other individuals. That's why it's going to be important. Mentors is one of the most important things that we can actually do. And you, if you can't change everybody's life, we know that. We're not gullible, but if you could change one individual, it starts becoming addictive. You become to know, yes, I did this. Yes, I saved somebody. Yes, I saved somebody's life. Yes, I began somebody's life, is what you're doing. You're going to be able to do that once you're successful, which you already are. And we're going to be able to witness that. And I'm going to be connected with John to get you to come back in to help me. So right now I'm living up in Carson City, but I will be coming to Las Vegas when my family comes back from New York. And I hope I run into you when I need work at my house and I call somebody and you show up. I hope when I go buy a car, I run into one of you and you're the salesman. I hope when I go into a hospital and see one of you as the workers in the hospital helping me, because I know how important you are to everybody in your life and you make a difference to somebody. And if you make a difference to me, I will be always grateful for you as well. And we will help each other. And like I said, I need your help as well to change at least one life of those that are incarcerated being returned to the community. Good luck to all of you, and this is just the beginning. I'm proud of all of you. Thank you.
I'm so excited. I want everybody to just look at each other because this is going to affect our community. I want you to turn around and look at somebody and say, get ready. No, say, look at me and say, get ready. Get ready. Say, it's about to get really good. Before we make way for our final speaker, I want to recognize some of our employers and our vocational trainers here in the room. I know that in the room over in the corner over there, hint, is Ahern Extreme Manufacturing. I know that Keolis Transit, MB Transit, Station Casinos, Smitty's Trucking is here in this room. And I want you to make way over there because those employers that are there are ready to have conversations with you so that they can immediately hire you in sustainable wage jobs. Cecil Fielder, would you stand up? I want to also have the MB Transportation folks, would you please stand up? Binions, Smitty's Trucking, Turf NB. No, keep standing up. Please keep standing up. Because I want to make sure that our folks see you so you guys can make a beeline over to them at the end of the graduation. Remember what Barbara Lupe said with that 20-second smile? You better go over there and go get it. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We greatly appreciate it. Also, I want to make mention of, vocational training is something that we take that very serious. I know that the team from Ahern's Advanced Center for Training is here in the room. Will you guys please stand up and be recognized, please? Thank you guys so very, very much. They offer the commercial driver's license. There's HVAC, plumbing, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we're building. And sir, we're going to bring that into Nevada Department of Corrections so we can train the men and women in sustainable wage jobs before they get released. So as we make way, thank you guys, as we make way for our final speaker of the year, and I'm just gonna walk away because I don't even know what we're gonna expect, right? He's a fantastic leader and my dear friend, and sometimes he just gets straight to the point, right, with some stuff. But then sometimes, like, he preaches a sermon, right? Just makes you feel like you don't want to pass the bucket in the room. But he is the vice president of education reintegration. Pastor Tony Loudon, please give it up for him.
Listen, before I speak, I just have to do a commercial. I just have to do a commercial. When I was in the White House, the reentries are for the whole country. I was looking for, James, the best programs in the nation to replicate them, to get Department of Justice to stand them up. Kevin, I want to make sure that if we're going to be doing a reentry for the nation, I want the best program. I went all across the nation looking for the best program. The national average for recidivism is 71% in our nation. 78 million men and women are on felony paper. 78 million have a felony. 78 million. Hope for prisoners, recidivism rate, Cisco, 6%. Now, they say there's a lot of money in Vegas. I'm not going to ask for any today. But after I leave, John, I'm going to tell you this in front of a cloud of witnesses, that you and Kevin and Cisco and James should get together to have a private meeting, a luncheon with all this money in Las Vegas and say that we want to stand up and replicate this up and down the state of Nevada, and then we want to replicate it and put it all across the nation, and you want to be on our tablets across the nation as well. And we'll make major changes. We want Ahern on our tablets. We want to do all that manufacturing on our tablets. We want to do the CDLs on our tablets, vocational training on our tablets. We want to do it all.
Let's go.
And since, you and I are hooked up together, we just going to plan behind the scenes and get a lunch and get someone to sponsor it and get all those people involved. All right. Love you, brother. Thank you. I got one other commercial. When you say it was hard to tell John no, there was one person, actually three in the room, bobbing their head saying, We tell him no. So let's give John and his daughters a round of applause because they tell him no. The reason why I love my brother so much that, I'm on the East Coast and sometimes I'm in the bed and John will call me. He's just leaving the building. And Cisco, I can hear that he's tired in his voice. I can hear that sometimes he just wants someone to talking in the car while he's driving so he can make it home safe. See, the Bible says to whom much is given, much is required. You don't see it, you don't feel it. You say John Ponder, and everyone talking about John Ponder, but he's giving of himself. And every day he goes home and then he has to give to his children. And then he has to give to his bride and he has to replenish himself. And then he has to go and knock and beg and knock and beg and knock and beg. And then he has to go and look at ways of how do he get back up the next day and speak life into you. So every time he calls, I answer his phone because I know that he wants to belong to this movement where he gives of himself so that his baby girls can have a better day. So I want to encourage all of you in here, not only just be celebrating John Ponder, but be praying for him. Not P-R-E-Y, but P-R-A-Y-I-N-G, praying for him. Amen. Love you, brother. So I'm not going to be long. I just got a couple more commercials, then I'm done. And then I'm going to talk to you. My name is Tony Loudon. I'm the Vice President of Viapath Technologies. Our company has 60% of the market in technology in the nation. We are putting everything, what I call on steroids, on tablets. I want to change the game. I'm from North Philadelphia, one of the worst ghettos in America. 99% of my family has been in and out of prison. 99% of my family has been involved in gangs and drugs. 99% of my family has been in and out on the street selling drugs. I grew up in the trap house. Most of the people don't know what the trap house is. The bootleg house for the senior citizens in the room, or the speakeasies for the 80 babies in the room. But my mom ran the trap house, and I was a slave of the trap house. Well, I had a nana said, if you come to church, I'll bake you banana pudding. And I went to church every day chasing that banana pudding. Not just so much to escape the trap house, but to maybe watch the TV that has not been sold for drugs. And maybe get some food in the house because the food stamps in my house were sold for drugs. But also Nana would take cocoa butter and baby oil and she would rub it in a balm in her hand and she'd say, baby, take off your clothes. And she would take this sob and she would take it and she would rub it into my wounds from a beating of a braided extension cord that my mother gave me because I was late from coming home from school, from cleaning up her vomit and everybody else's vomit in the trap house. And my nana would say, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You shall be the head and not the tail, and everything that God has for you shall come to pass. And James, one of the biggest things she would say was that Lord speak his name in rooms he's never even walked into yet. And I'll never forget the very first time I held a meeting on reentry with all 17 agencies that was representing the federal government in the Situation Room, a black man from the hood, a trap house, holding a meeting in the Situation Room at the White House, talking about criminal justice reform. I got to thinking about my nana, speak his name in rooms he's never even walked into yet. He shall be the head and not the tail. So I have an obligation to do everything I can to put back. I have an obligation to do everything I can to help people. And so when you see these officers in here, I want you to know that it's not just today. Some of them have nanas that spoke life into their life. Some of them have children that have been in and out of the system. Loved ones been in and out of the system. Some of them go home just like John Ponder and trying to speak in to their wives and love on their bride and be sexy with their brides. Some of them are really struggling every day. And when we see them crying over losing one of their members in the line of duty or for a car accident, or chasing somebody or running into a house, or we see a probation officer chasing somebody and end up with bullets, you got to say, I belong to him. That's my brother too. That's my sister too. When you see a highway patrolman pulling somebody over and stopping drunk drivers, and all of a sudden he gets hit because he's trying to save somebody else and be preventive, you got to say, that's my brother too. But I am my brother's keeper. When you see someone like Cisco trying to give himself and be a servant leader with a servant heart, you got to say, that's my brother too, because not everybody raised their right hand and put their left hand on the Bible. And when they take it off, make that commitment and that covenant with God, even after they remove their hand on the Bible. You are looking at some servant leaders over here. I've sat down with Kevin before he became the sheriff. I know his heart. This man wants to serve and make these communities better. When he talked about 11 homicides, it is personal to him, because he know what his men come up on the scenes, his men and women come up on the scenes and they see bodies. Yes, they belong to a fraternity. We all belong to something. Some of us will run around and say, I belong to beloved St. John Baptist Church. Some of us, John, will say, I belong to the Chamber of Commerce. Some of us will say, I belong to Ahern, and we're leading the nation in manufacturing jobs, and we have all this stuff going on. Some of us will say, I belong to this probation agency. Some of us will say, I belong to the Department of Community Supervision or Department of Corrections. I belong to some. Some will say, I'm a city council member, and I raise my right hand, I'm a newly elected, but I belong to something. Some of us in here have been incarcerated, and you ended up on child support, and they came and got your DNA, and so that it makes sure that that child belongs to you. And you say, that is my son, or that is my daughter. They belong to me. I heard you when you said we belong to each other. So I flipped my whole speech today to talk about I belong to somebody. Some of us, we talk about the colleges that we belong to. Some of us talk about the NBA players that we belong to. But we all have this longing deep down inside, John, to belong to something, Kay. But I'm not talking about those earthly belongings. I'm talking about something different than that. See, what made me different than the 99% of my family not in and out of prison, I found out that I belong to something bigger than me, something that opened doors for me, something that said, I am the head and I'm not the tail, something that wiped tears away when I had mayonnaise sandwiches to eat in the trap house. When I didn't have mayonnaise sandwiches, I had sugar water because we didn't have Kool-Aid. When I had to pick my mother up because she had been beaten up by other men, I had something on the inside said that if you just hang in there, I got you. Every now and then, you got to find out what that hang in there is about and who you belong to. It's not about walking around and saying, I'm an officer and I belong to this certain organization. It's not about this blue that you have on today. You look so darn good. I heard some of you in the bathroom saying, man, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to do. I heard the ladies, I wasn't in the bathroom, but I heard the ladies. Don't get me arrested out here. I heard the ladies in there laughing and joking about how good they look. Check me out. But you belong to something now. You belong to this thing called hope. I want to go deeper. Not just for you, but for your family. I want to go deeper. You see, whenever I get down, I listen to something that takes me to a whole nother level. It takes me to this place where I get an opportunity to feel what's on the inside of me. when I don't have a foundation. When I look back when my mother kicked me out of the house when I was 13 and I was homeless on the streets, looking in the trash cans for food and sleeping in the public restrooms, I had to find something on the inside of me, something that's real for me. Something that when my friends turned their back on me, I had to find something that means more to me. That when my mother would say, "You're no good, just like you're no good, Dad," and she would sign it with the N-word, I had to find something on the inside, somewhere where I belong. See, I couldn't belong to the Crips, Bloods, Folks, Mafia, and all those other gangs. I had to find something else that was truly a ride or die. Something that truly meant to be blood in and blood out. Something that every time I saw red, it covered me with the blood of Jesus. So I want you leaving here today knowing not only do you belong to Hope for Prisoners, man, I have a father. Even when I grew up, didn't have a father. But I'm not just a man of God. I have an Abba Father. So that when I speak to my children, I know what it's like being a father. That he chases me because he loves me. Even when somebody else don't even tell me that they love me. His words say, whom the Son has set free is free indeed. And you never have to go back. Even if I speak a different language, even if I'm tatted up, no matter what happens, even if they call me Trinidad, even if I brought fear to the neighborhood, those things don't define me. His thoughts define me. Why? Because he's my reality. Don't let that go. When you take off the blue, and when you see the blue on the streets, know what you have on the inside you. Know who you are. Know who you belong to. It'll take you a long way. It'll change your name. It'll take away your enemies. You don't have to worry about being down. You don't have to worry about going to get a lick. See, when you chase him, resources chase you. All you have to do is know who you belong to. I'm not trying to get you to join my church. You have to fly to Georgia to do that. I'm trying to get you to find something that's bigger than a building. That's bigger than the prison cell. He accepts prodigal sons and prodigal daughters. And he'll take you back. He'll dress you up with a ring and a robe. And he'll give you grace and give you mercy. And he'll stand you up and say, you know what? I love you. And ain't nothing you can do about it. God bless you.
My gosh. Will the ushers please pass the... Wow. Wow. As we bring in a ceremony, thank you, Pastor Dr. Bishop Cardinal Tony Loudon. I'm going to ask the graduates to please stand up on your feet as we welcome in. This is our first graduation in 2023. It gives me an honor and a privilege to have in this building for the first time to administer our oath from the 8th Judicial District Court. Please welcome Judge Jennifer Schwartz. Thank you so much.
So I'm not here to give a speech because I could never follow that. I would just run out of the building if that was required of me. But I have to say, as a former attorney with the Clark County Public Defender's Office, I'm so proud of you and you, and I congratulate you and you. And I thank you for allowing me to administer my very first oath as judge to you all. So if you could raise your right hand, please. I state your name. Hereby declare an oath in the presence of family, my friends, and all those present, that I will fully embrace this opportunity for a new life. From this day forward, I will strive to be a productive, law-abiding member of my community, be a person of honor and integrity, be a person who sets positive examples for those around me. I will strive for all of these things as I am a person of value, a person who takes responsibility, a person with self-respect, who respects others. I look forward to the future, having learned from my past. My determined purpose from this point forward is to make the rest of my life the best of my life. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome job. I'm going to ask for our speakers to come up and join us. And also, City Councilwoman Victoria Seaman, would you please come up here? I'm going to ask for Amanda Sandoval from the office of Governor Joe Lombardo, please join us. And then the Representative Justin Guzman from the office of Congresswoman Dina Titus, if you please come up and join us. Promise and Liberty from the Ponder family, would you please come up and join us? Your Honor, would you please come and join us? If you guys will please put your hands together and welcome up Hope for Prisoners graduate, Mr. Royal Allen. All right. Please keep it going for Mr. Jesus Inaguano. All right. Let's keep it going for Mr. Brock Bett. Okay, man. Congratulations, man. Very, very proud of you. Keep up the good work. Please keep it going for Miss Jenny Boatman. Very proud of you. You're welcome. Miss Colleen Bologna. Congratulations. Please keep it going for Mr. Nathan Bowenbank. Congratulations, man. Please take a picture. Mr. Elijah Butler. Congratulations, man. Please keep it going for Mr. Charles Fairchild. Congratulations, man. Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Antonio Gomez. Okay, congratulations, man. All right. Please keep it going for Miss Lily Gonzalez. Congratulations. All right. Mr. Kalen Hampton. Hey, okay. All right, man. Congratulations. Mr. Dion John Howard. Okay, that should work, didn't it? Yeah, all right. Good deal, man. Please keep it going for Mr. Maurice Howard. And congratulations, OG. Congratulations. Stick close. Stick real close. Mr. Anthony Ianaldo. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Please keep it going for Miss Shauna Keaton. Congratulations. Let's hear from Mr. Salvatore Anifretti. Sal. Congratulations, man. Take a picture. Let's keep it going for Miss Larissa Patterson. Congratulations. Mr. Ray Pineda. Ray! Congratulations, man. Very proud of you. Mr. Timothy Roberts. Congratulations, man. Please keep it going for the one and only young eagle, Mr. William Rowita. Mr. Willie Sewell. Okay, young eagle. Congratulations, man. Take this picture. All right. Mr. Juan Soto. You gotta come back for 1 second. Congratulations, man. Keep up the good work. Sit close. Mr. Joshua Steen. Congratulations, man. Looking forward to working with you. Last but not least, Moises Trinidad. Congratulations, man. All right. Good stuff.
Trinidad.
I'm going to ask the graduates to please rise to your feet and please join me in welcoming and congratulating the Hope for Prisoners January 2023 graduating class. Would you please give them a round of applause? Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. High five, man. All right. I want to thank all of our visitors who come out, our family and our friends, those who've come from near and far, our collaborating partners, the employers that are on the back wall back there. Make sure you make a beeline over there. I just want to thank all of our speakers that have come out from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Yo, you can do better than that. From the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Sheriff Kevin McMahill. Our Secretary of State, Cisco Aguilar. From Nevada Department of Corrections, Mr. Jim Zarenda. And from VFAB Technologies, Pastor Tony Loudon. We want to give a big special thanks for Judge Jennifer Swartz for coming out the first time. Listen, it was Cisco's first here speaking, right? And the judge's first here. We want to thank you guys so very, very much. City Councilwoman Victoria Seaman, thank you so much for joining. I want to say a big thank you to all our our trainers, our mentors. Big shout out to the staff of Hope for Prisoners. You guys are the absolute glue that holds us together. Lots of work for us to do next week. Looking forward to it. Go over there, find a job, get a job. We will see you next week. God bless you, everybody, and have a good night. All right, young man.